Verse 17 says, "Do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. So assuredly I say to you, till heaven or earth passes away, one jot or one tittle will by no means pass from the law until it is fulfilled." Now there's a little bit of a disagreement among people about what that means about the law passing away or not. Well, does that mean then that we are supposed to follow all the commandments, also was it 613 commandments in the Old Testament, that we're all bound to obey those? I know there's some folks here who like crawfish that are in trouble, right? Because the Bible says don't eat that stuff, right? I had some pork chops yesterday that were amazing. Uh-oh, am I sinning? Am I violating the law? Had a breakfast burrito this morning, had bacon on it. Uh-oh, right? But we do those things, we go, but that doesn't apply. Well, why doesn't that apply? It doesn't apply not because, oh, that's the Old Testament, right? We don't follow the Old Testament. It's because Jesus fulfilled the law. He says, I didn't come to abolish it, right? I didn't come to, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not tearing it up and throwing it away like it doesn't matter. I'm fulfilling it. If you remember, the Old Testament commandments are part of a covenant. Moses comes down off the mountain. While he's up there, God makes a covenant with the people of Israel. I have delivered you from the hand of bondage. The 10 Commandments start out. I am the Lord your God, who delivered you from slavery, from the hands of bondage in Egypt. And so therefore, let me make this arrangement with you. I will be your God. You will be my people. Here are the terms of our relationship. And he gives them the commands. If you follow the commands, I will bless you and protect you. If you don't, fine, have it your way. And we see whenever they're not obeying God that he backs off and he lets the other nations have their way with Israel. And then whenever they're obeying, he steps in and protects, as was agreed. And the laws are part of this covenant, of a contract. And Jesus didn't come to do away with the contract. He came to fulfill it. It's done. Everything that Israel could not do, every law they couldn't keep, every commandment they disobeyed, he obeyed. He kept the law perfectly as Israel could not do. So he stepped in as in that place to fulfill what mankind could not accomplish. And so it's done. We don't follow the Old Testament law, not because they didn't matter, not because they weren't good laws, because that contract's over. That covenant is fulfilled. There are terms of a contract, of a covenant that we no longer live under. So while there are definitely things in there that reflect the morality and the goodness and the righteousness and holiness of God that we should go, hey, maybe that's a good idea. Let's obey that. We don't have to obey the commands because they're part of that contract. It's just like whenever you have a, let's say you buy a car and you have a contract, certain stipulations within your car, and you're making payments. Once that payment is fulfilled, once the agreement is fulfilled, you have to keep making payments? No, you're not bound to that agreement anymore. We're now under a different covenant. The good news is that we're no longer bound by this old covenant, that there is a new covenant, a covenant of grace, whereby Christ's righteousness is given, imputed to us so that we no longer have to look like we're trying to earn God's favor through the keeping of commandments. That is the good news. The good news is, hey, all that sin you've got going on, that you've not been good enough, that you can't measure up, you don't have to measure up. Yes, we should be holy as God is holy. We should strive to not sin. We should, now that we are saved, we should seek to honor him and glorify him in how we live, but we do that as a response to being saved, not in order that we will be saved. That's the good news of Christ, that he came to fulfill the law, the old covenant. Not abolish it. He didn't come to say, no, that's old, that's junk, that's gone. No, he honored it. He constantly points to and quotes it. It is the word of God, but it's fulfilled. That part of the plan is done.